All right, so that all might have just gone entirely sideways because I can't see anything what's going on. First time going live. Yeah, so it's Damo Das Pips here, and just wanted to get online, just talk a little bit about how the markets have been so topsy turvy over the last week. Geez, I mean, you can see on the screen here, Bitcoin, right? Just everybody's like, "Oh my God, Bitcoin cratered." Did Bitcoin really crater? I mean, we'll talk some more about that, but we can even hop on over to the SPX, which is, the S&P 500 on a daily chart. Like, if I was to draw a trend line, I mean, it's down, right? Everybody's like, "Oh my God, the bull market's over." But, if I was to draw a trend line from like, over here and draw it all the way up over to here, I'll change that color so it stands out a little more, right? Like, we're not even down to the drop we had in October. So, like, this is not the end. The end is not near. The end of the world is not happening. Hey, if you're on Insta, you're more than welcome to pop over, check out my story for the link to the live stream. So, so lots of stuff is dropping, right? I mean, gold. Let's see, what was gold up to right now? XAU, USD, right? Like, gold, yeah, it's sort of flatlining, but it's dropping a bit too here, right? So if we go back to the Bitcoin chart, right, like it's not so bad, right? Like, everybody was freaking out. It's not nothing out of the normal. This is exactly what we do, right? Like, this is what crypto does. So like I said, I wouldn't let's not be too scared, right? So I gotta reload this. I don't know what happened here. So let's just go back here. I want the chart with my drawings on it. So there we go. So we got the Bitcoin chart here, right? This is a daily chart, and if I put this on a weekly, it starts to look a whole lot nicer. Like really, if we take a look at this, we ramped up here. Back in September of 20, we had that big bad run, right? And if we come back over here and we look, this big bad run here, that was a November run too, right? And it had a little bit of a drop in here, first week in November, right? If we go to September, if we go down to 2018 here, you can see that this first week of December area, we had another little pullback, right? Little tiny pullback, people worried, and then boom, in April it hits, it goes big. So, just the show, right? And again here, same thing, a November time frame, and we see a pullback, right? Last year at this time, boom, we had another, in November, we didn't really have that same kind of a pullback situation, but we kind of did as we went into December, and then we had that massive rally at Christmas time, right? There's still time for that to happen. But if we were to look at the technical chart structure here, we have a high, which is followed by a low, right? And then we had highs over here, followed by some lows, followed by a high, and then a little tiny low, and then we just rocketed. But geez, we went all the way up to 42. Everybody's like, "Oh my God, it's so high, nothing's gonna happen." And then bang, we have a bit of a fall here, right? This is just the market cycle doing its thing, ups and downs, right? And then we go up, and then we had a big pullback, right? This is a weekly chart, so we're looking at this over, this is each candle is representative of a week, right? So then we went up, we hit this all-time high over here, we chopped around a bit, and then what do you see, right? We pull back into this same range over here. This is earlier this year. This is back in May, right? I drew these lines on here at that time after we had that fall in May, right? We came back in and we tested this zone again, right? We tested this price zone here at the 30,000 mark, right? So between 27 and 30, right? I had my line. I was going to buy if it hit 30. And it didn't cross 27, so I knew I was going to be okay, and it was going to climb back up. And then we had this big run July, August, right? Everybody's like, "Oh, Bitcoin's dead. Bitcoin's done. We're not doing anything with Bitcoin. Cryptos are down." And then wham, it hits, right? And it comes up. And we had a little pullback again, which gave us another buying opportunity in September, right? Another opportunity to come in and buy, right? Why? Because it's come down and it's tested the top of this area. So if I go over here and I grab a rectangle tool, right? If I draw a rectangle right through this area, oops, there we go, right? Like, that's an area you could buy in, right? Why? Because this rectangle is the tops of where these areas were, right? Where price was. Price didn't want to get too much below 38, right? And it didn't. It barely cracked. It was like 39, 635, right? We barely touched. And then we ran away, right? So now we've come back down. And when this price ran away, if there was people that were shorting Bitcoin here, you know, because of this fall and it pulled away, they were in drawdown. And we came back and we snapped up a couple orders. But it came back down here and all the buyers came in. Why? Because that was where the previous low was on the run going up. So everybody came in, and I bet you a bunch of buy orders hit here, and it sucked back up, right? We moved this down to a daily chart, and you can see clearly that yesterday there was a bunch of people were selling. It was falling, and buyers came in hard. Why? Because this was the launch pad to go up, right? It was the same thing here, right? Buyers were buying again. They waited for price to come into a discount. You curious what a discount is? This is what a discount would look like right here. I'll use a Fibonacci tool. And I'll put it up over here. Let me just change my template so that it's showing a little bit better. Right? So these are like percentages on this here. It's hard to see it a little bit here because I use some different colors there, right? But the big one to look at here is this is 50%, right? This is the 50% retracement. Price went all the way this way, and it came back to the 50% retracement. So you're going to buy something when it's half price? Right? You buy when it's half price. You buy half price, right? I know my fiance does because she's always like, man, it was 50% off. I got such a great deal. Yeah, exactly. That's why we wait for these things to happen. But you want to see even crazier? Is that if I move this one and I go all the way up to the all-time high here and look at it, on this bull run here, that sucker was down in between the 61.8 and the 71. So that's like almost a 70% discount. Are you going to buy it up on that 70% discount? I know I would. Because guess what? If you buy now and I go shift and I go climb this thing up, let's just do this. We'll climb up. Let's say she goes back to the all-time highs, right? There we go. Now it's working. So let's try that again. So if I go in here, it's probably because there's too many drawings on here. Too much stuff in the way. But let's just say we buy it right here, right? Boom. You going to want to make a 40% return on it? I guarantee you it will come back into this area. And that's probably half. That's 20%. You want to make 20% on your buy? If you were able to snap it up down here, if that was probably a good 15% return already so far on where it came back if you bought when we were down at 41,000. So I wouldn't be concerned that the sky is not falling, especially when you see a big, massive wick in one candle like this. That wick means there is buyers willing to buy Bitcoin at this price because it's at a discount. So that's it. That's my Saturday, man. I took a minute to look at this. This is why this happens, right? It's normal price action. You can see it all over, right? It rises up, we get a pullback. What happens when it pulls back to a discount? People start buying because it's cheaper. If you were to buy it while it was sitting, if you were to buy it up here, you'd be sitting in drawdown going the opposite direction. When this sucker sells and it goes past this previous area, right? You could offload it into a stable coin or into some other coin, hang on to it. And when you see that thing hit down here, you could even have it in Canadian dollars, American dollars, whatever. But when you watch it fall, and when you come into a zone like this and it's a discount, snap it up there, right? And you'll make the same money you made in this move again on its way back up. Trading 101. If you guys are interested in learning more about how we do what we do, feel free to reach out to me anytime. But that's it, Saturday night, and it's time to get going.